Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today for a discussion. Today's discussion is going to be about two topics, two major topics. Number one, I'd like to debunk some myths about cloth face masks in children and in adults. And number two, I'd like to discuss how to mitigate or decrease the risk for your child if you choose to let them play sports. So let's talk about topic number one for a minute, and I'd love questions if you can. So first of all, what are the major myths going around in our community? And let's talk about them. Number one, first myth is that people are saying that wearing a cloth face mask or any face mask can decrease the amount of oxygen that you can exchange into your body. And the answer to that is untrue. So don't forget that people wear face masks all the time, and the oxygen level in studies have been shown to be the same with and without face masks. So it does not decrease how much oxygen gets into your blood. The second myth is that wearing a mask can interfere with a child's development or learning. Again, that is a myth. It is untrue. Children develop just fine. They can exchange air just fine and oxygen right through the mask. So don't forget that molecules of oxygen are much smaller than the aerosols that transmit the virus, or the droplets, forgive me, that can transmit the virus coming out of someone's mouth when they talk, scream, sneeze, or cry. So it is much easier to exchange oxygen through the cloth face mask or through another type of face mask, much easier than for the droplets to get out. Number three is that the mask can trap carbon dioxide in your body, and the answer to that is no, it does not. So carbon dioxide, again, is a very, very small molecule. It easily goes right through the mask, not like a droplet that is captured in the mask. So wearing a mask does not increase the amount of carbon dioxide in your body. Another myth is that wearing a mask increases the amount of stress that is put on someone's body, whether it's a child or an adult. The answer is no, it doesn't increase the stress. It should actually give you a little bit more comfort that you are protecting others and yourself from infection. So it should decrease your emotional stress, and it does not put extra physical stress on your body. And number five is that some people are saying that it decreases immunity. It does not. Wearing a face mask does not decrease anyone's immunity. So I just want to be clear about this. These are myths. It is not true that wearing a mask will either increase carbon dioxide or decrease oxygen. It does not affect your child's ability to learn or develop. It will not increase your body's amount of stress or decrease your immunity to any kind of illness. So wearing a face mask is the best way to protect others and yourself from getting sick. Thank you. Now about sports participation. As schools are about to start, some people in our community are choosing to put their kids in team sports simply because it's necessary. Some of these kids really need to play sports to keep moving for their emotional as well as their physical health. So how do you decrease or mitigate the risk of playing sports during the COVID pandemic? So there's a few things you should think about as a parent. Number one, how close are the players when they are interacting with each other? So obviously, sports such as wrestling or basketball, people get right up into each other's faces and even touch each other. So that's a high risk sport versus something like tennis, golf, or track, where people are not that close to each other, which is a low risk sport. So there's no perfect answer for everyone, but I would like you to understand what is high risk versus low risk in terms of sports. So distance between players is really important. Secondly, do they share equipment? So any sport where people are sharing a ball or equipment is higher risk than a sport where they're not sharing equipment. So again, track is perfect, cross country, things like that. They don't share anything. They have all of their own equipment, and therefore it is much safer than having them share something, such as a ball. Number three is how long are people in contact with each other? So if your child's playing a game, are they on the field the entire time, the entire half? or can they be switched out? So if you can decrease the amount of time to 10 to 15 minutes of exposure to others, that is better than having them on the field the whole time. So again, how long are they exposed to others? Number 4 is it indoor or outdoor? I do not recommend any indoor sports with a group or a team at this point. I don't think we're ready during the pandemic to do indoor sports. However, outdoor sports are safer, not safe, period, but just safer. Number 5 is how many players are on the team. The fewer the players, the better. If we can keep it to 5 or less, that would be great. But if there's more than 5, that increases the risk. I strongly recommend that you do not put your children in travel sports at this point, simply because it is not yet time to go to other communities. We still have to stay within our state, our community, to decrease the spread of COVID if possible. And the last point I'd like to make is that we are the role models. So we, the coaches, the parents, and the spectators and friends are the role models. When we are observing or watching the sport, we should do our best to wear a mask the entire time. And when I say mask, I mean mask or face covering of any sort, cloth otherwise. So we should always wear it the entire time we're around other people. We should do our best not to scream, yell, etc. We'd have to cheer by clapping, which doesn't spread the virus. But you know that as the more that you speak, you can spread the virus by aerosol. Oh, forgive me once again, by droplets. If you speak and some droplets escape your mouth, which happens with all of us. So we are the role models here. So under what conditions are you allowed not to have your child wear a face mask during the sport? Well, if they're actively exercising, running the whole time, an entire half of soccer, for example, it is better for them not to wear a face mask during that time. But it is still not the safest thing to do. So active exercise is a time where you don't have to have them wear a mask for their own safety. However, in terms of transmission, it still is somewhat risky. Number 2, water sports, they should not be wearing a face mask at all during any water sports. And number 3 is if the mask can possibly become dislodged and cover their eyes. For example, like under a helmet or something, you should not have them wear a face mask then. So again, playing sports has always been somewhat risky, whether it's in adults or children. We were always thinking, how do we keep our kids from getting hurt during playing the sport? However, this year it's extra hard to keep them from getting hurt or to contract a virus or to transmit a virus. So it's going to be real tricky. So these suggestions are just going to decrease someone's risk of getting infected, but it does not eliminate the risk at all. So just to sum up for a minute, keep distance between players and choose a sport where they're not touching each other. Choose a sport where they're not sharing equipment or sharing minimal equipment as possible. See how long the child is going to be on the field or playing. So the less time there, the better. And choose outdoor versus indoor, please, and choose the fewest numbers of players at the same time on the field. When they're not playing, they should not be huddled together, sitting and talking. They should be further apart, and they should have their face masks on the entire time that they're not on the field and playing. So this is my Facebook Live suggestions this week. It is the middle of August, August 14th, and I hope you enjoyed the last few weeks of summer with your children and with your families. We're here to help you get ready for sports, to do sports physicals if you need us to. We're here to do vaccines. We're here to talk to you about mitigating or decreasing risk. We're here for you in Union City 7 days a week and in Bayonne 5 days a week. Call us if you have questions. Would be glad to either set up a televisit or to see you in person to answer any questions you have. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.